Hi, good afternoon. This is Dr. Joseph Baker from the Limerick Chiropractic Center. And last night we did a workshop on Ask the Doctor. And one of our patients had posed a question which I wanted to make sure we spent just a few minutes answering. You know, a lot of times patients think, well, chiropractic, it's just the spine, it's just the back. And I want you to recognize, as a doctor of chiropractic, we are engaged in making better healthcare decisions in order to help protect our patients and ourselves from making really bad mistakes that cost us down the road. In fact, we recognize that in health there's a number of different things that come together. Now, today we're going to be focusing on protecting ourselves from making a bad decision like putting chemicals onto our body, and particularly our feet, which are going to absorb about 70% of what they come in contact with. In fact, if we want a really quick way of putting something into the body through the skin, we want to go through the feet. Today, we're going to talk about actually stinky feet. Now, listen, if any of you all have an 8-year-old at home, you already know there are problems on the horizon. Socks, they just stand up in the corner. The shoes come off and there is this green mist, this haze that just wafts over the floor beside the shoes, and sort of like Pigpen, trails behind the feet as they walk across the room. The sad thing is that this is not only a really terrible physical condition, but on top of it, emotionally, it can be really a problem because people just don't want to take their shoes off in public because their feet stink. Now, we were pointing to the kids, but let me tell you, there's a lot of adults that have this same problem. So I'm going to encourage you, if you know somebody that has stinky feet, make sure after you listen to this, tag them so that they can get this natural information, this natural way of eliminating stinky feet forever. Now, this is fantastic. Now, I don't have water in this basin, but I'm going to tell you, my feet should have been soaking in this basin for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. And here's the really cool thing. As we soak our feet in warm water, we're going to add Epsom salt and Bragg's vinegar. Now, I'm going to recommend, if you've never seen this, I recommend using Bragg's vinegar. It's an organic vinegar. There's a lot of great properties behind this vinegar that are going to help to destroy some of the things that are actually causing the stink. Now, we're going to talk about the solution first, and then we're going to talk about the actual problem. All right? So once you've soaked, one of the things you want to do is just lightly towel dry your feet. And once you've lightly towel dried your feet, you should notice that the skin around the heels should be lifting off a little bit. But here's the key. The key is that once it's starting to loosen up, you want to use one of these things. Now, these are great. These little eggs are absolutely fantastic. They're going to help to exfoliate and get rid of this dead skin, this top layer of skin that's accumulated on the bottom of the feet, and it's going to help to capture it inside this little device, so it's going to stay nice and clean so you could throw it into the trash and not onto the floor. All right? Key. Let's keep things clean. All right? Now, once you've done this, I'm going to tell you, be aware. Too much, too soon, is going to be a problem. So less is more. You want to do this in stages and to give your body some time in order to release some of these layers of tissue so that you can continue to remove them over a week or two's period of time. All right? So not too much too fast. Otherwise, your feet are going to be really sore and you're going to be substituting one problem for another problem. Now, I recommend once you've gotten finished taking off that dead skin off the surface is to use a tea tree salve. Now this is really important because tea tree oil and tea tree salve have an antimicrobial and antibacterial benefit, which is going to help destroy some of the bacteria that is part of the problem. Now you're probably asking, bacteria problem. What's going on here? So the issue is that we have levels or layers of skin that are constantly being sloughed off. The problem with our feet is that, well, those levels of skin or those layers, the top layers, they don't just get released to just drift away. They're held in place by these things that we call a sock. And as those cells, as there's moisture in our shoes, for whatever reason, and we all sweat. I don't care who you are, your feet sweat. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, they all sweat. Well, those top layers, they absorb that moisture. And because you're standing on your feet, well, when it absorbs that moisture, that gravity, that pressure actually squishes it so those dead cells, well, they actually have all that moisture locked in there. Now, here's the problem. When that foot starts to heat up because it's inside a shoe, it's inside of a sock, that heat plus the moisture causes that to ferment. And it causes it to fester to the point where, yes, that bacteria ends up growing and it releases that smell. Now, for some, it's more than others. Like I said, you could be like Pigpen, okay, where it just trails across the room behind you. Others, it's a little bit less. In fact, sometimes it gets to the point where you have had so much of that dead skin accumulate that what ends up happening is your heels will crack. They'll bleed because they're actually that far behind in getting rid of that dead and broken down skin. So my suggestion, and this is something that I personally used, I know that this works, is first off, make sure that you're soaking your feet in Epsom salt with a little bit of Bragg's vinegar. Do it for 15 to 20 minutes. Allow for that time to be able to actually take this magic egg and actually take and remove some of that dead skin, put that tea tree salve or the tea tree oil over it so that it helps to make sure that it continues to knock down some of those things that are left behind, and then repeat the process. And here's the absolutely awesome thing. Something this simple, this easy, that natural is capable of removing stinky feet forever. I want to thank Laura for asking me this question. I want to thank her for putting this out there so that we could go ahead and answer this question online. If you found this to be helpful, do me a favor. Make sure that you hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Leave somebody else's name in that so that you could tag them so that they can get this information. But share it amongst your friends to hopefully not only provide them the opportunity of taking care of this problem once and for all, but protecting them from making a mistake that could possibly cost them part of their health. I'm Dr. Joseph Baker from the Limerick Chiropractic Center. Have a great day.